I would like to welcome you all for today's webinar, Concepts of Green Building by our Center's Chairman, Engineer Badam Sundar garu. A green building is a building that in its design, construction and operation reduces or eliminates negative impact and can create positive impacts on our climate and natural environment. The various benefits of green building: reduction of natural resource consumption, reduction of operating cost, health comfort, safety and resistance. Today's lecture covers sustainable site planning, solar design strategy, wind design strategy, daylight strategy, do's and don'ts of soil preservation, waste management at site, energy optimization, renewable energy utilization. Before going to the lecture, I would like to share some moments of our rack ceramics plant tech visit on last Sunday. thank you all. Last week we made a memorable technical visit. Members' participation and involvement really appreciable. Request the members not to miss such technical programs since we are spending lot of time for the program organization. Without late, I welcome Center Chairman Engineer Badam Sundar garu to address today's webinar and start his lecture. Thank you.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Durga Prasad garu. Actually, last week we had this technical visit. This is our third visit, which became very successful, and about 45 engineer friends have participated in that, and it is a very successful event. With all members' cooperation, we could able to get that success, and I expect the same thing in future also. Actually, the very purpose of having the association is to share the knowledge and to improve our domain. For that purpose only, this association is formed and the center is established for that purpose. And with last week's performance, we are very confident that in future we'll have great endeavors, and I wish the same cooperation from all the members in that aspect. Thank you all. And now coming to green building concepts. This is a very interesting subject. Everybody wants to know about green building concepts. It is a very very elaborate subject. Today we will have introduction, and based on the response from the members and students, we will continue this series. Why? Because this involves a lot of technical inputs, and those details today I won't discuss, but brief introduction, because I want to restrict my program for 1 hour to 1 hour 15 minutes maximum, including this question answer session. So that's why we'll have brief introduction about greenhouse concepts. Actually, what is a green building? A green building is also known as a sustainable building. A green building is a building that in its design, construction or operation reduces or eliminates negative impacts and create positive impacts on our climate and natural environment. With this, our quality of life will be improved a lot, and ozone depletion will be controlled. Global warming potential will be controlled. And one more thing is that with green buildings, our life will be more beautiful. And what about the cost impact? If we go for green buildings, will it be at par with construction cost of conventional buildings? Generally, no. About 5 to 7% it costs more when compared with conventional building construction cost. But during operation and during its lifetime, the savings will be as high as 14%. Though the initial cost is high, we can prefer to go for green buildings, because in long run, after payback period, whatever the savings we get, that will be more than 14% saving. So one must try to go for green building concepts, not in a sudden fashion, but at a phased manner, and wherever possible, there we can plan for alternate building materials which are green building friendly. We all know that during Corona phase 1, quality in cities like Mumbai, Delhi, etc. has drastic improvement. That means that we are creating lot of hell to the environment and to ourselves. So this Corona has shown us a way to think about green building concept and to implement to have a better life and better environment. So what will be the goals of green buildings? Life cycle assessment, siting and structure design efficiency, energy efficiency, water efficiency, materials efficiency, indoor environmental quality enhancement, operations and maintenance optimization, waste reduction. Uh, it is a we can say that green building concepts is RRR, triple R. It is like Rajmouli's RRR. Here, this R is reduce, second R is reuse, and third R is recycle. So RRR, we have to follow this in our design and making the construction. Reduce impact on electricity network, cost and payoff, regulation and operation. During during this green building concept designing, one should see that the energy efficiency should be utilized to the best possible extent, and the water efficiency. Water efficiency means suppose for landscaping work, instead of going for exotic plantation, if we go for native plantation, the water usage will be reduced. And by reducing the lawn area, lot of water can be saved. And if the project is a big project, grey water, after processing grey water, that can be used for this landscaping and gardening purpose, so that lot of groundwater can be saved, and even the drainage problem also will be solved. Likewise, for the material efficiency also, if the materials are available locally, that means that the materials, suppose if you want to go for ceramic tile or vitrified tile flooring, instead of going for the far off places suppliers material, if you go to have the materials from Aparna tiles or RAK ceramics, there will be a mileage saving of about 500 to 600 kilometers. Thereby, we can reduce the pollution, and moreover, the cost also will get reduced. Likewise, when we plan for the material purchase, whatever the best quality materials available within the range of about 400 kilometers, less than 400 kilometers, if we go for that, if you go for using them, we'll have a lot of saving. And while selecting a site for constructing a residential building or a hospital or a school, if the amenities are within 600 meters range, that will be there will be lot of energy saving. Instead of going for usage of four-wheeler or two-wheeler, we try to go by walk or even by cycle. So ultimately, we can reduce the negative effect on the environment, and we can improve our air quality. So usage of local materials will enhance the green building concept. And one more thing is that energy efficiency. For this energy efficiency, what we can do is wherever possible, instead of going for conventional lighting systems, if you go for LED lighting, will power save control. And waste reduction, whatever the waste generation is there, that is to be reduced. And from the waste, if you can recycle, that will be more advantageous, and that will enhance the environment in a better manner. So, and wherever the fans or air conditioners, refrigerators, such things are there, if you go to 3-star rating or 5-star rating, that is a very good option. If not, not to go lower than single star graded, so that there will be lot of power saving, and the green building concepts are encouraged. Now, coming to what are the components of green buildings? Energy efficiency and renewable energy, water efficiency, environmentally preferable building materials and specifications, waste reduction, toxics reduction, indoor air quality, smart growth and sustainable development. All these are the components of green buildings, and to have the energy efficiency and renewable energy, wherever possible, will go for either solar power or wind power, or geothermal power system, so that lot of thermal power consumption can be reduced. Thereby, pollution control will be done. And nowadays, solar power is becoming very popular. Even for small residential buildings, also we can encourage them. Though the initial cost is there, the payback period will be maximum 5 to 5.5 years. After 5.5 years, whatever the power you get, that will be almost free of cost. So one should encourage, all engineers should try to encourage this solar power in the planning itself. Likewise, for water efficiency, wherever the usage is more and possibility of wastage is there, in such cases, the sensor controlled systems will be highly useful. And even for landscaping also, instead of going for using the pipe, sprinkler system is always advantageous, and that will reduce a lot of wastage of water. For toxic reduction, what we have to do is low VOC material is to be used. Even for our adhesives like Fevicol and all these things, if you use the low VOC materials, a lot of toxic reduction will be there. And for indoor air quality improvement, what we have to do is we have to maintain the setbacks in a proper way. Whatever the National Building Code has suggested, that has its own importance. That is based on our indoor air quality. If the buildings are close together, there will not be proper fresh air circulation, and thereby air quality will be polluted. And if the indoor air quality is not proper, a lot of health problems will come, and that will have negative impact on our living standards. To avoid such things, one should be careful in maintaining the setbacks in a proper way. And this smart growth and sustainable development. For smart growth and sustainable development, we all should encourage the usage of user-friendly green building materials for the construction. And coming to the major elements of green building: materials, water, energy, health. Energy health means, I told you earlier also about this. Instead of going for conventional lighting, if you go for LED lighting, and instead of going for ordinary equipment, if you go to star rated equipment, you will have better energy efficiency, thereby our savings will be there. And for reducing the water usage, the sprinkler systems and the sensor systems can be used. Along with that, reprocessing of grey water is a best solution for the recirculation and reuse of water. If you see the Hyderabad airport, that is whatever the water used in the for the flushing purpose and for landscaping is grey water processed in the STP, sewage treatment plant. That water is reused in the uh, this bathrooms and landscaping purpose. Thereby, the whatever the wastewater is coming out, that is recirculated, reused, and the groundwater levels are protected. Such things we have to encourage in all our major constructions. What are green building materials? The green building materials are renewable materials. And if you take, I'll say a few materials which are replacement to our conventional materials. Instead of going for ordinary Portland cement, if you use pozzolana cement, PPC cement or slag cement, those are green building materials. There we are using about 35 to 38% of slag, which is a molten blast furnace slag, which is a waste product of steel plant. And this pozzolana PPC is with fly ash, which is obtained from boilers or thermal power plants. Those wastage can be used for better environment and for better efficiency. When you compare the strength part, instead of going to OPC, if you go to PPC or slag cement, there is no harm in the strength aspect or durability aspect. Only thing is the initial setting time is a little bit delayed, but in long run, or if you take 28 days strength, almost OPC and PPC or slag cement will have same strength at 28 days. But if you compare 7 days strength, there may be slight difference. That makes no sense in the long run or durability of construction. Hence, it is recommended to go for PPC or slag cement in place of OPC cement. And wherever possible, don't use wood directly. Instead of wood, if you use the plywood, that will save lot of uh, environment. And the trees, for getting a tree of about 3 feet diameter, it takes about 60 to 70 years to grow. If you cut that, once again, it will take 60 to 70 years. Instead of that, if you go for alternate materials like plywood or MDF, there the saplings are used. And with those saplings, there is no harm for the main tree, and the environment will be protected and our purpose also will be served. And if wherever the wood finish is required, there instead of going for teakwood direct panel, if you have plywood with veneer, the same effect can be obtained, and that will save the environment. Likewise, the conventional brick, instead of going for country bricks, red brick, if you go to AAC blocks or Falji bricks, the environment will be protected. Why conventional brick is to be avoided is it absorbs a lot of heat and it consumes a lot of the nature's earth, usable fertile earth, that will be converted into brick. To avoid that thing, AAC blocks are made with this fly ash, and in Falji bricks also, lot of fly ash will be used, and the waste material can be converted into a useful material with our cooperation. and wherever the equipment is to be used, there go for minimum 1-star rated material equipment. Instead of conventional lights, go to LED lights. Wherever possible, go for locally available building materials. And if you take the river sand, instead of river sand, you can go for good quality manufactured sand or mechanical sand or robo sand. This will solve two problems. One is waste from the stone crushers can be converted into sand. That is, and second is the rivers are protected. The rivers or canals or the natural resources are protected from the environment, and there will not be any damage. When you come to strength aspect, there is no difference between robo sand and the river sand. The same parameters are applicable for both the cases, and any person can go for M sand instead of river sand without any hesitation. These are few materials I have discussed here. There are so many other materials also. While going through the detailed lecture, we can discuss about all these parameters. And while planning what to do to have a green building concept, build vertical instead of horizontal. That means horizontal instead of horizontal expansion. If you go to vertical expansion, what happens is there will be lot of material saving. The space will not be there, and the no need to disturb the natural agriculture lands or forest areas. Thereby, we can have, with a little area, we can have more number of units. That's why plan vertically, not horizontally. Next is pay attention to landscape and orientation. Here, landscape is a important parameter. Why? Because if you have more setbacks, you can have more landscape. Thereby, you can have lot of plantation, and thereby it consumes a lot of carbon dioxide, which is left by us, and it releases oxygen, which will be highly useful for us. And the orientation plays a very important role. If the building is planned in such a way that the windows are placed in north direction and south direction of bigger size, and on east and west side of smaller size, lot of radiation can be controlled, and good air circulation will be there, and the efficiency of the building will be improved. Choose low cost and renewable materials. Choose simplicity over complexity. Only for architectural purpose, don't make the building to be more complicated. Thereby, lot of wastage of material will be there, and a lot of energy will be wasted during construction also. One more thing is that if you make good investment in insulation, it will save a lot in energy in long run. That means that if you, on western side, if you go for a cavity wall, a lot of heat can be controlled, and thereby the efficiency of air conditioners or natural ventilation will be very much improved. So insulation in different manners we can do. In that, this cavity wall insulation is also an economical solution. Set up solar panels. Whenever you design a building, you make a provision to have solar panels, so that we can have the power saving in long run, and we are highly helpful for the country. Consider geothermal heat. Pick energy efficient windows, fixtures, and appliances. Energy efficient windows means instead of going for windows of single pane, if you go to have a small cavity with a double pane, lot of heat reduction can be obtained. Thereby, our air conditioning efficiency or the natural ventilation efficiency will be drastically improved. Take advantage of incentives, tax breaks, and certifications. Yeah. If you go for solar power, government has announced so many incentives for the users. You can avail those benefits also during the incentives given period. Thereby, your project cost can get reduced. Lock in your electricity rates with a fixed rate energy efficiency plans. These are the important things basically for the um, green buildings. And if you compare, our India is in third position in using green buildings, except US. If US is considered, US has the topmost number of buildings. About 33,632 buildings have the green building rating, and India has about 899 buildings with the green building rating. And India is supposed to be a good green building concept promoter. Now, I'll go into details of green building. Now I'll stop here for a while, and I request the participants to have any queries or questions so that I can go into next detailing.
I hope there are no questions, sir.
Yeah. For engineers, how to become green building professionals? Now the process is very much simplified. From your home itself, you can become a green building professional by attending the examinations conducted by Gruha or IGBC or GEM. These three are awarding the green building professional qualification to the aspirants. The concept is you have to write the examination. It is a protracted examination. From the house itself you can attend, and you can get your certification with this. So that I recommend all people, all engineers to go to the green building qualification. Why? Because if you go through the details, definitely our mindset will change, and definitely we try to encourage the green building materials for the construction. Now coming to green infrastructure, there are about 30 criteria to be considered to be for green building. The intent of this criteria is to ensure that the site complies with the relevant master plan or local development plans and guidelines. Here, our engineers should encourage the builders to follow the guidelines given by the National Building Code or local authorities. Why it is required? This is to improve the living comfort. Based on living comfort, only the setbacks are planned by the government or national building code. So don't deviate from the basic principles of setbacks and floor space index wherever applicable, so that we can have a good quality of environment. The other thing I explained earlier also, the proximity to different nodal transport and amenities to manage last mile connectivity as well as reduce dependence on personal motorized vehicles. If your project, if a big project is there, if it is constructed in an isolated way, it is away from the city and it is not well connected by either road transport or within 600 within the 600 meters range, all amenities should be available. Keeping that in view, if you design, it will be a advantage and it will have some mileage in green building rating. Yeah, but when the buildings, if anybody wants to construct buildings close to rivers or water body zones, minimum 30 meters around the full tank level is to be maintained.